Hi, Jessica here, Yoga for Everybody, representing Zen Active Sports. I am back on the shores of Lake Superior again this week to help demonstrate and teach you guys one of my favorite yoga poses, the spinal balance. So for the spinal balance pose, we can actually start from a hands and knees position, and then I'll show you guys how to safely get into and out of this pose, along with another little modification option for those of us who aren't quite ready for it in our practice. From a hands and knees position, let's go ahead and first of all check in with our alignment. So making sure the shoulders are above the wrists and the hips are above the knees. The feet stay hip width apart. Engaging the core muscles to keep the spine straight, keeping the head looking down to keep the neck in alignment with the spine. Little bend in the elbows here, pushing down into the earth to keep the shoulders down, the chest open, and a little smile on the face, of course, always helps open the airways, so we can breathe nice and deeply. To begin coming into the spinal balance pose, we'll do so nice and slowly, noticing how I just started by bringing the hand forward first, and then the leg, until they're just parallel to the ground. Okay, so on the inhale of the breath, we'll bring the arm and opposite leg up. And then on the exhale of the breath, we'll come slowly down. Switching sides, always alternating. Trying to evenly practice this spinal balance on both sides of the body. So try and keep track of how many sets you do on both sides. It's kind of hard to lose track, but do as best you can. And then when you're ready to hold the pose, if you're ready for an extra challenge, you can try holding the pose, really paying attention to the alignment. So you might have to take a peek back at the leg to make sure that you're not lifting it too high. And whenever you're ready to switch sides, do so on the exhale of the breath. And then, actually, if we're having some issues with wrist fatigue or knee pain, we could try coming down to a prone position lying on the belly. So same thing, inhaling as we come up, exhaling down. Obviously, we're not having to use as many muscles as we do from a hands and knees position, so you'll find that this is a nice modification option to build up strength in preparation for the full extent of the pose. And same thing, we could try holding the pose for an extra challenge. Really reaching forward with the fingertips and then pulling back with the tips of the toes. Engaging the entire body in this pose, so it should feel like you're pulling yourself in two opposite directions, being held together by the strength of the core. Still breathing nice and deeply from the bottom of the belly, relaxing the jaw, maybe even smiling. And we could try flexing the foot. Some people prefer flexing instead of pointing, so you could try that, see if that feels better. Obviously, you'll be stretching different muscles along the backs of the legs instead of the tops of the foot, as we do when we point the toes. So it's really up just to your personal preference. We could wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes if we wanted to. And again, just being aware of the rhythm and the quality of the breath. When we're ready to come out of the pose, we'll do so nice and slowly, coming all the way back to a nice counter stretch in the child's pose. So we're folding forward, nice stretch along that low back. Relaxing the hands, keeping them shoulder width apart, knees hip width apart. Relaxing the forehead on the mat. Lowering the heart rate, slowing down the breathing pattern. Relaxing and rejuvenating. Feel free to stay in this counter pose as long as you feel necessary, and then to come out of the pose, we'll do so nice and slowly, and the exhale of the breath back to a comfortable seated position. And then, of course, if we want to, we can always spend a few moments just meditating, breathing, being still in the present moment.
Thanks for practicing the spinal balance pose with me here on Zen Active Sports. Be sure to stay tuned every week for more tips and videos at www.zenactivesports.com. Thanks again for watching. Namaste.